Hey guys, let's take a look at the new event Pre-Storm Protocol. First, you gotta unlock yourself some mind circus things. You can just quick note them, they don't really matter. When you start off, you will be able to choose yourself between some multiple different difficulties. We're gonna do a run for the highest difficulty right now. First, you will have to choose yourself a so-called mind circuit. Spoiler alert, this event here is catering towards Blood Tide, Dynamo and Impromptu. So if you have one of those three teams, you should go ahead and play this mode with one of those three teams. I can give you an example here. For example, the Mind Circuit Precision is catered towards the Blood Tide team. As you can see here that all allies gain a shield based upon their own max HP. Blood Tide is all about increasing their maximum HP. Then I will give you another example here, the focus one. This is the one for Impromptu. As you can see here, that at the end of the enemy round, all enemies take damage, right? This is all what Impromptu is all about. They deal damage to your enemies at the end of the round. In this video we're gonna go over an example and we're gonna play the Blood Tide team, so we're gonna cater everything towards the Blood Tide. Remember that depending on what team you play, things might differ just a tiny bit, but I will go into more detail about that in just a second. When you first start out, you will be faced with this map right here. And the very first thing that you have to do, or should do, is look at the task list right here on the left hand side of your screen, and there you can see that defeat the invading monster Astronaut Ghost on day 4. We can see it is day 1 right now, so we're gonna have to do some exercises to advance the days to day 4. You can also see that you have the mission Upgrade Headquarters to level 2. You will click on this mission and you will see, hey, I can't upgrade this because I don't have the materials that I need for it. And whenever this is the case, you click here on the right hand side of your screen on Start Exercise. Before we jump in, I want to mention one more thing, and that is that you will unlock yourself some items. They are called gadgets and they are very important. More onto that when we actually unlocked ourselves one of those gadgets. They are very important and kind of what this is all about. So since we can't complete any of our missions, we cannot set up our gadgets, we're gonna start exercise. Here you will be faced with multiple different maps. For now we can only go into the pristine grassland or the darkened city. You will start off in the pristine grassland. This is a very small field that teaches you the very basics of this game. For my example here, we will jump right into the darkened city and see how things look there. Here you can set up your team. So let me do that real quick and then see you in a minute. Okay, here we are. You can see that you can choose 5 characters instead of 4, and all the battles that we will have to fight, we fight them with 5 characters. I recommend that you establish yourself a team right here, as you can see what I did with Blood Tide. And early on, if you are not facing the highest difficulty, you can choose a 5th character that just completely obliterates, right? I used Lucy for this, for example. But in the later difficulties, I would recommend you go with Fatutu, if Fatutu is not already part of your team anyways. If she is, then you can use whatever you want that deals a lot amount of damage, or a 5th member that fits into your team, right? Whatever you like. Then you have here, you will have assistants. More to that when we unlocked one. Let's first of all start an exercise and see what the map looks like and how we approach things. So you will see you are on a map here. The first thing you do is in the right hand upper corner you see a button for map. This one right here. You click on that, you scroll out and you check the map first. Here you can see that the exit, right, the, let me call it spaceship that we will have to reach to evacuate ourselves from this area, as we will have to do at some point because a storm is approaching. This is where you want to be when, or before, in fact, the time runs out. You will want to use your time, that is the time that is available to you, to explore the map. That means in this case here on this map, or in general, we do not head straight to the exit. We go, in fact, the other way to explore the map a little bit and gain some loot. So in our case, we're gonna head to the right hand side of this map first. Here you can see that you have a field of vision, and some fields are in the dark, in the shadow. You should not walk too far into the shadow. As for example, if I would move now straight here to the very right, I would miss on some fields and I would have to go back. In our specific case here, that wouldn't matter because we will have to go the way back anyways. If you wouldn't walk back, then you would waste time. I will tell you this again in just a second when we actually move left. And you can see on the top of your screen there is a time with 24 hours or minutes. And you can see the message that the storm draws close at 14:30, and each tile you move, the time will deplete. And yeah, you can see different things on the map here, but for now let's just start moving to the right into the shadow to actually explore the map. You do this with double click on the Steam version. You can see here, this is an enemy, for example, and you want to fight enemies. Usually you don't want to fight low level enemies. You want to only fight enemies from level 3 or above. Those give you very good loot, and they are very recommended to actually face. Now the enemies below, they can be skipped. Below level 3 you are free to skip those if you wish. Now let me skip over this battle and then see you in a second. Alright, we beat this battle, and after the battle you can either choose to leave or you can loot. And you can see that looting would cost you 13 minutes. But for monsters, for fights that are above or level 3 or above, you will always loot no matter how much time that would possibly cost. And then you are faced with this screen right here where you can look at what the loot actually is. You will have items, the gadgets that you will have to equip yourself with to make you much stronger in battles. Since I play Bloodtide, I need the Bloodtide main piece, and something called Fury is what I need to increase. This piece right here would not cater towards my Bloodtide team, so I would skip. Additionally, you will see these blocks here. They are called building materials. They are very important because those are what you need to level up your buildings in your base. They are mandatory. You will always want to grab them. Then you have candy, right? Rations is what they are called. This is food that you need to satisfy your assistants. I will explain this also later in a little bit more detail. And then you have like papers, research notes. They are mostly here to gamble on a machine that we will find, right? More onto that. So usually, like, you can just loot all, and you can see that everything here, every item has a weight attached to it. And here you can see how much weight you have. It's 1100 in my case, and I'm carrying 0. Now if I loot all, for example, all the weight of these items would be added onto my number 0. Usually this number doesn't matter at all, and you can pretty much loot everything, especially in the very beginning. You just loot everything that you gain access to. Then you keep exploring, right? This level 1. You can see our level here, researchers, level 2. If we would now run into something that is below level 2, we would instantly beat it, and we would not have to like play the battle out. Here again, we loot, we see building materials, we see rations, we loot all. And this is how you just keep exploring. Now, there are assistants. Those are the people. Usually, you don't want to run into those people right here that you see here. You would only want to run into people with this golden bottom, right? This, when the ground that these people stay on is golden and sparklies. Those are the people you want to run into. We can move on. Here you see this mirror. Here you can click on this, you can investigate, and this would reduce your resistance. This would reduce or fill up, in fact, your resistance. Resistance is the meter that you can see on the very bottom of your screen here. Resistance, healthy. Whenever you would walk through the storm that is approaching from here, you would lose resistance. And the more and more your resistance drop, the more and more max HP your team loses. And if this resistance would in fact drop to 0, you would lose this exploration and you would have to try again. You would lose all your loot or everything that you gathered throughout this expedition. You would lose. So we explored the right hand side of the map. There is nothing interesting. As we figured out, you should not talk to the people that don't have a golden bottom. So let's just move on and talk to the guy that we actually want to recruit, which is this guy right here that is sparkling. And you can see our time runs out with each step that we take. Well, you simply talk to this guy and you recruit. Some people, they want something from you, like a little bit of food or a specific paper, in order for you to actually recruit them. What you aim for in these people is, you can see this guy here, for example. He gives me a stack of off-field support in battle. What you want to aim for is someone that gives you 5 stacks or more of off-field support. Each stack of off-field support increases the damage of all of your characters by 2%, and you can gain up to 99 stacks. For this trait manual effect, you would want to aim for people that reduce the time each step takes, or that reduces the resistance that you lose by walking through the storm by 10%. Here we got some items. We got candy, which is food, and we have an item that we can actively use, this one right here. What does it do? It used to immediately evacuate from the current region without losing any items. Okay, we wouldn't need to walk to our spaceship. We could immediately evacuate with this item. Those items that you can actually actively use are pretty useless, at least for the most part. Here you can see more on the map. These cats, they are very, very important. They lead to Ulrich being able to have thoughts. More into that also later. Now let's first of all finish our expedition. And you see, you go along. You can see that a few more steps and the storm would actually approach. It's not a big deal, but even though you usually have more than enough time that you could possibly need, have a little bit of an eye on the time still, because storm might actually kill you. It's very, very unlikely to happen, but it could. You see the storm approached. Yeah, here it actually hits the map and it comes closer and closer and closer. Every time, like a certain amount of time passes, you can see that every step that I take from now on will lead to the storm approaching. The storm stops drawing close at 12:50, as you can see here. So there's nothing that we would have to worry about right now. So let's keep exploring. And see an enemy on level 2. Here you have a car. There will be loot, you know. Time will run out for 40 minutes, no problem. You're always gonna go for that trade. Here you can see that we gathered an item, and this is actually a very good item. As you can see the mark Blood Tide here, but I will explain items in just a second after we left this area. Then you can see this treasure chest here. This is also a field that you always want to go for. We did just run into an enemy that is below our level, and therefore we didn't have to actively fight it. This one is level 2, we are level 2, so we're gonna have to actually battle against him. Let me finish this real quick. Okay, here we go. We of course we pick up loot. Here is building materials, food, everything that we need, an item for the dynamo archetype, and so on and so forth. That is also an item that is very beneficial for our Blood Tide team. Actually, here we can loot more. This Egg of Dedication is very important as well for us, one of the best items for Blood Tide in this mode. Then we can see, like we have time, right? We have over 8 minutes left here. So if that's the case, if you reached the end of the map and you have still time left, you can explore a little bit. We could fight this enemy here that is level 2, but it is not really necessary. If there is map to explore right around here, then you can go for it. Maybe you will find some more loot, but in general you can just leave the area right here, right there. And now is where things get a little bit interesting, because now we can use our loot in our headquarters to do things. Here we are back in the base, and now you complete the quest. There's upgrade headquarters to level 2. You go to your headquarters, you upgrade it to level 2. Here, boom, gives you some items. You have to choose one of those 3 items. Here you will have to know what is very beneficial for you, and I will explain to you what will be beneficial to you depending on what team you will play soon. Then you can see here, right on the left hand side of your screen here, build a dormitory. You click on this, he goes to the dormitory and you build it. Easy as that. And you just continue to do these quests every time they are available. And that's really about it. To fulfill these quests, you have to gain loot during your expeditions, right? The building materials and the food, because you will gather assistance, and the more assistance you have, the more food you will need. You see this right here. This recruit will, or this assistant as they are called, will cost you 50 food each day. You can see I have 1010 food, and the more assistance you gather throughout your adventure, the more food you will need. So this is very important to loot food, right? And another thing, then of course, if your quests are fulfilled, you can see now my quest would be level up headquarters to level 3. I cannot do this because I have only 20 stone, but I would need 400. Then the most important part of them all is this tab right here called Gadgets. Those are your items. And now you can see you have different items. This one right here is for Blood Tide. You can see its effect. This one right here would be for a follow-up team, for the extra actions, right? And so on and so forth. This is mostly gathered towards Blood Tide, Dynamo and Impromptu. You can also build a follow-up team here based on extra actions, but this one is the worst. You can see this one right here as an example. This is a Dynamo piece. So what you're gonna do, since I play Blood Tide here, some items have the effect that they have to be placed right here at the very beginning, right here in this space. They have to be here to grant themselves an additional effect. But what it in the end really comes down to is that you will see when I put a blood tide item into one of my slots here, this thing in the middle occurs. This is the blood tide thing. It even is called blood tide. And what it does, it activates the blood tide insignia. This is a mass attack that happens every single time one of my characters takes damage. And this is pretty strong. It does a pretty significant amount of damage. And now is where things get interesting. You see this little icon right here, this fire with an X, let me say it like that. This is called Fury. And each item, as you can see here, this item, for example, gives me 2 Fury. Every item, mostly those catered towards blood tide, give you Fury. And you wanna stack up on Fury as much as you possibly can, because Fury increases the damage that this insignia strike, this mass attack, does. And that's what this whole item build section here is all about. When we talk about blood tide, you will, of course, if you play Dynamo, right, in this mode, then you will put a Dynamo piece in here and you get a Dynamo. Then you read what this does and you like figure out how to play this piece right here, this Dynamo piece, to its maximum efficiency. You can see here you have to stack something else, right? You have to stack another picture instead of the Fury that I have to stack with my blood tide. But in this video, as I said, we're gonna go over this example of playing blood tide. And then, of course, each and every item you have to read it. This one right here, for example, let's read it together. Greatly increases allies' penetration rate. Wellness blood tide piece that I have in the middle is in effect. My insignia strike additionally increases damage based on the amount of blood tide that is already consumed, and it increases my Fury. This is absolutely perfection. This is exactly what I want. But still, let's check out the other effect. Here you click on effect, boom, now this does something else. Let's read it together one more time. Allied penetration rate plus 20%. Then when the blood tide insignia is in effect, this piece that I have in the middle, then the insignia strike, my mass attack, that triggers every single time one of my characters takes damage, then additionally increases this damage by 5% the amount of blood tide that is already consumed, and Fury plus 2 points, right? Here you have to wing it a little bit and you have to judge yourself which effect is better. For me, clearly this first effect here is much better. How you can do this, for example, you can use this effect. This tells you it increases Fury. You go, you see still this piece in the middle here has only 2 Fury on it. Sometimes if you change the effect, it would give you more Fury, right? Here both effects give me the same amount of Fury, so I have to judge how good this one is based on the description. There are items in this game for 4 teams. You will see for one that there are items, there's a whole set for extra actions, so for the follow-up team. And then we have blood tide, Dynamo and Impromptu. You can see this here. This is even called blood tide. This is very important. And here you can see what the item actually does, and you will have to read it. You can click on effect to actually see more detailed information, and it gives you actually the numbers if you are obsessed with numbers for some weird reason, right? The numbers doesn't matter because it won't change the effect of the item anyways, but that's besides the point. So since we play blood tide, we of course look for items that have the archetype blood tide attached to them. And now is where it gets really interesting, because you will see if I now apply an item to my inventory, then this one appears here. This is the blood tide piece, the core piece, the most important thing. and you will have to read what your middle piece does, and you have to understand it, build your other items around it, and even to some extent in-game play around this piece. So let's read it. It activates Blood-Tide Insignia. This is a mass attack that deals damage to all enemies whenever one of my allies would take damage. So perfect for the Blood-Tide team, obviously, because I use abilities that deal damage to myself. So I can use this to great efficiency. Additionally, let's read it together what it actually does. HP loss during an ally round triggers the launch of this mass attack that I just told you about once after action. Each point of Blood-Tide consumed deals additional damage. When Blood-Tide reaches a certain amount, this mass attack deals increased damage. The higher the fury and something else is, the more damage this deals. This is another thing. You can see this right here. This is called fury. Here you see this 2 points of fury is what this item gives me, and I have to stack up on this fury with all of my items combined as much as I possibly can, because the more fury I have, the more damage my mass attack that I deal whenever one of my allies takes damage would deal. And that is what my item build is all about. But it gets, there's more. Let's read it. Accumulate Blood-Tide whenever allies lose HP. Immune to the Storm Syndrome Stage 1. That means that HP can only be recovered up to 80% of maximum. If resistance continues to decrease, this unit will die. More to that when, you already saw it, right? What the resistance is. So this explains itself, and it doesn't really matter. The higher the fury, the more Blood-Tide is gained at the end of the round. Alright, cool. So easy, right? I want to make sure that each and every turn in battle, I will show you this in battle as well, but let me explain it right here. Every single turn, every single incantation of mine, or with the most amount of my incantations, I want to make sure that those deal damage to my own allies, so that this mass attack that I do actually happens as much as possible, and therefore I want to stack up as much fury as I possibly can here. You can see this item gives me 2 fury, and this is represented in the piece in the middle. This one now also has 2 fury. Okay, so how do I fill out my item build here is with Blood-Tide pieces, especially those that would give me fury. Sometimes, like this is a double piece here, those also give you fury. You can see this here, since this is also a Blood-Tide piece. It's mainly Dynamo, but also Blood-Tide. This one does greatly increases allied damage. The more Dynamo and Blood-Tide gadgets are equipped, the more fury is gained. So very, very, very good. I will equip this one as well. And then, you go through your items, you read them, and if they are good, then you put them into your item build. See, ally critical damage plus 15. When I'm playing Blood-Tide, then I increase my crit rate for 15% and my critical damage for 15%. See, easy go. This unfortunately this is a very, very good piece if you read it, since it increases critical hit rate. That's always fantastic. Doesn't give me fury though. That's a little bit of a downside of this item, right? Let's read this too. That's also a Blood-Tide piece. This gives all of my allies plus 10% HP, and that's it. That is very, very good, of course, because max HP is what my entire team just scales up upon, especially Nautica. Since this one right here says for each piece of Dynamo or Blood-Tide gadgets equipped, items equipped, it gives me more fury. So this is a good piece. It doesn't do much for me yet because I have 2 pieces equipped that don't give me fury, but I think you get the point here. You take all, you equip whatever piece of item that belongs to the archetype that you play. This will unlock you a great piece in the middle. You read it, you will see what this does, you're gonna play around it, and you're gonna stack whatever it tells you to stack with your other items. And that's really about it when it comes to these items. You can of course build yourself multiple item builds. I can have one blood tide, one dynamo, one impromptu, one follow-up, right? If I would like play all of these archetypes for some reason, right? You get the point. You can establish yourself multiple item builds. Alright, so we talked about the quest, increasing your buildings, and the items called gadgets. Cool. Now remember the cats that I said that are pretty important that we looted during our exploration. There's a tab here called resolution. You can see this highlighted with in green where it says new. Here, this is where Ulrich gets ideas, his resolutions. And here you will be offered with 3 options. You will read them and choose whatever fits your team the most. You can already see this one on the top here is for extra actions. That is for the follow-up lineup. We don't play follow-up, we play blood tide, so we wouldn't take this. You can see right here, see on the bottom, this is for dynamo. We don't play dynamo, so we already go for the one in the middle. We read what it does, and so that we can play a little bit around it. This one is pretty garbage, but it's better than the other 2 for us, so we're gonna take this. Propose this resolution, yes. And now people will vote. Since we only have one guy here, that's the only one that will actually vote. Now he voted nay. They will either vote yay or nay, and since he voted with no, this resolution will actually not happen when it's time. That is not a big deal, but it can be if this resolution would be really, really good. So you can click on Seek Supporters and it will tell you the map where you can find the people that you need. There are different people that belong to different factions. You can see this here: Civilian, Laplace, Foundation, Xeno. So let me go back to the resolution real quick, and you will see that we picked a resolution where we need civilian people. And if you click now on Seek Supporters, it will show you the map where you can seek out the most amount of people that belong to the type civilian. You can gather those here, speak to as many people as you can, recruit as many people as you can, and have the highest chance that those people that you recruit are civilian, and they will vote yay to your resolution so that it will be accepted and the bonuses will be granted to you. Since we already did a run here on the Darkened City, I want to do a run on a different map just to show it to you. So let's go to the Velvet Forest. Let's run one more map with the forest here to go over things one more time and for you to see another map. Again, remember, what was the first thing you do when you see this screen? Top right corner, there's a button called map. You check that map out, you zoom out and you check it. First thing you look for is the exit. This is right here. You go back to your starting point, you see this right here. Around you, there are things to explore. Feel free to go for this. The hands are very, very good. This means loot. There is this cat that gives Ulrich ideas which could be beneficial, but usually one idea for one run is already enough. And then you have an area to explore. Remember, this area here is in the shadows. You cannot see. There things might, or will for sure even, appear when you explore this. So I would always recommend you go to these areas where it doesn't show anything on the map and there are like besides your path. You would have to go out of the way to explore this. So there's usually something useful there. Not always, but most of the times. And then you go around right here. Boom, what is this? This takes off 40 minutes of my time. No big deal, because it would also give me loot. There you go, I can check my loot. What is this? Greatly increases allied damage taken reduction, and it increases whatever dynamo needs. This is a dynamo piece, so I can skip on that. And I could only loot this surprise capsule here. This reveals the location of one undiscovered relic. Sure, why not? Instead of looting all, I will just loot this piece and then move on. Again, remember that you only want to discover like really the important pieces, but I mean, you have so much time, like you can go for everything. Here, this balloon, you investigate, you shoot it down, and then you give the record to Enigma. Confirm this, boom, you get building materials, you get gambling stuff, and you get food. All the things that you need and all of these things are very, very necessary and very, very good. Then you grab this cat here, because why not? Not 100% necessary. Remember, this one, this mirror thing here, is only if you would get hit by the storm and you would want to recover from this. So let's loot this. We don't have to engage in this fight, I think, because we are also level 2. There we go. We reduce our time, we take the loot. These are all building materials and food and stuff. Everything is good, so we loot it all. And that's really basically about it. Here again, always go to the fields where there's something with a gold ground. Needless to explain. Here, reduce my time by 40 seconds. Loot all. Here, very good piece. This increases my fury. This is a very, very good item for me for Blood Tide as well. It increases my fury. So those ones, they will absolutely be equipped. You can, by the way, do this on the fly. I can equip these items right now to already stack up on my fury. Click here, boom, equip. The tooth and this leather here doesn't give me. This one is a pretty bad piece, so I would remove this tooth with this, because this one gives me fury. You can see my piece in the middle. Now, instead of like having 2 or 3 or 4 fury, it now has 9. So I increased the value of my item build here quite drastically, just for looting like a little bit of stuff. There's an enemy. Remember, always fight the enemies on level 3 or higher, as they have pretty good loot. We want to go all the way to the left here, just to see if there's something interesting to grab for us. Oh, I have to double click. I always forget to double click. Well, there are 2 guys we could talk to, but if they don't sparkly, then I don't want to talk to them. Oh, I stumbled upon something that I want to show you real quick here, just in case you come across one of those guys who don't have a golden background, but they have this little star, this little sparkly attached to them. That means that this is one of the assistants that you seek out to support Ulrich's idea to grant you this beneficial effect from earlier. Remember? So if you see one of those guys, go talk to him and try to recruit him. Now I have a civilian who can support Ulrich in what he wants to accomplish. And here I came across one of those buildings, this one with a cat right here, which is called a gacha machine. Here you can gamble with tickets, like Twisted C, 100 tickets, and you get something random. Oh, unfortunately, we did only get junk. But yeah, you can try again, you can twist it again, you can gamble all of your tickets here, see what you get out of it, right? Again, we got junk. And here we go. This is the final boss that will appear. And here you can see he has 2 perks. One is when entering battle, this boss gains 5 stack of backup power, and after being attacked, inflict 1 stack of pollution on the attacker for 2 rounds. Now, you want to get rid of those, specifically and especially the first one, that when he enters battle, he gains backup power stacks. Those are really annoying. You will have to have the correct assistance. You can see this one with a star right here. Unfortunately, he gets rid only of the pollution and not of the backup power stacks. You see, you would want to have a human, a assistant that is from the foundation. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those. So yeah, talk to a little bit of more people. So establish yourself a better roster of assistances. Talk to a few that don't have a sparkly or golden background or whatever, right? Talk to some usual people and establish yourself, like, to have 1 or 2 assistants of every single type available. This not having a foundation type assistant will hurt me in the fight right now. So see that you are not like me and you actually get your hands onto one of those people. And he's down. Like, this end boss here, that is actually not a joke. They pack quite a punch. I have a perfect blood type team with a P5 Nautica, and it was not too easy to actually deal the damage to take them down. So be prepared on the highest difficulty to beat this end boss. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But still, that's about the video, guys. Here, when you finish this, you have the option to take an item with you and 3 assistants to the next battle. So see and figure out what the best item in your possession for your archetype is, and make sure that you take this with you. And for the assistants, like I already said, you want to aim for those that give you stacks of, what was it called? Wait a minute. Stacks of off-field support. You want as many stacks of off-field support as you possibly gain. Let me know what you think about this gameplay mode here. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you like? What do you dislike about it? And tell me if there is something that you would want me to cover next, right? Like today or tomorrow in my next video, what should that be about? What would you like to see first? And that's it, guys. Don't forget to join the Discord server. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and we love this game.